To prepare them for their course of study, Professor and Pro-Vice Chancellor Udine Barreto says the university is considering developing a one-year English language immersion course. She says this will help them.
That becomes a preliminary year for non-English speaking students who will then be equipped to pursue other highly relevant degrees at the Cable campus. For example, just imagine the advantage a Panamanian or Venezuelan lawyer would have with knowledge of Caribbean legal systems and commercial law, and in every area, because the world is changing and you are ideally located, and we would love to have all of you come back and do our degrees.
Professor Barreto was speaking at a welcome ceremony for the first cohort of the bilingual Panama program. It comes as Barbados and Panama strengthen cooperation, particularly in the area of education. The 16-week program, which runs in 2 cohorts, targets high school graduates between the ages of 18 and 28. Professor Barreto says the course will be a learning experience.
In the year in which Barbados celebrates 50 years as an independent nation, throughout your stay, you will therefore have ample opportunity to attend many cultural and educational functions and to learn much of the country's history and culture through an array of public events. Some of you may even be able to trace or learn our family roots. Expect some older Barbadians to come looking for you, to ask you if you know of long-lost family members.
Females the world over are being celebrated today, International Women's Day. It also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. People who want to take part can log on to www.internationalwomensday.com. The theme for the 105th International Women's Day is Planet 50-50 by 2030, Step It Up for Gender Equality. Chairman of the SAVE Foundation, Liesl Daisley, says women cannot fight female causes on their own, and both genders need to work together to bring about peace, love and unity in relationships. She also expressed support for gender equality.
Not just at home, but in the workplace and in general, basically, women have rights, and we have the right to enforce our rights and to have our rights respected, and we need the help of men to do so. So again, on behalf of SAVE Foundation and its members, I'd like to wish all women out there happy International Women's Day. Hope you have a great day and continue to be strong.
In her message to mark the day, the Executive Director of UN Women says there's been a significant increase in support by politicians to ensure gender equality and women's empowerment. And she emphasizes that women have to take part in order to make Agenda 2030 that is transformational and inclusive. A prisoner who managed to escape from the District A Magistrates Court was recaptured 10 minutes after. Derek O'Neill Morris had earlier appeared in court charged with stealing money. He was offered bail but made a dash for freedom while waiting on word from a surety. Morris was recaptured in Roebuck Street. Barbados is being encouraged to designate as living national treasures people who have helped to build the nation. Deputy Director of the Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Kevin Farmer, suggests this could be part of the island's Golden Jubilee celebrations. He offered the suggestion during the weekly lunchtime lecture of the ruling Democratic Labour Party. He says the title is fitting because the contribution of these men and women should not be forgotten.
We lament the fact that master craftsmen, be they joiners, blacksmiths, saddle makers, coopers, seamstresses, are disappearing, but some of them are still alive. And their knowledge needs to be recorded, they need to be acknowledged for the things that they've done. And in fact, having the creation of a living national treasure whilst they're still alive, I think is very important.
And looking toward the future, Mr. Farmer wants to see resources put into departments that are key to nation building.
Department of Archives, National Library Service, Barbados Museum and Historical Society, Barbados National Trust. as those directly engaged in helping to preserve our history.
After 28 years, there's been a changing of the guard at the White Park Wesleyan Holiness Church. New senior pastor Reverend Esther Willoughby was installed during a service on Sunday. Reverend Joel Cumberbatch spent almost 3 decades in that position, but had to relinquish the post after being elected General Superintendent of the Wesleyan Holiness Church in the Caribbean 2 years ago. After a voting process, Reverend Willoughby was elected senior pastor. She had earlier served as assistant pastor at the same church. Reverend Cumberbatch says her involvement in the church thus far has been admirable.
The truth is, many of the major programs that we've had on stream, Reverend Willoughby had an intimate role to play in them. A very, very strong administrator. I have said it publicly, she is one of the most educated and trained ministers that we have.
And the new senior pastor is eager to carry the torch.
As our church, as a vision we have to have a great impact society around us. We know that there are many children and young people who have lost the way. And we want to go out, the mandate for Christ, go out and win them at all costs.
The Barbados Museum and Historical Society will be celebrating the development of national identity during its upcoming lecture series. Lectures will be held every Tuesday starting March 15th and will run until April 26th at the Queen's Park Steel Shed. The first, not one, of the Down Islands, Landscapes and Ecology will be delivered by historian Dr. Lennox Honeychurch. Vice President of the Council of the Museum, Sir Woodville Marshall, says the timing of the event in this, the 50th year of independence, is one of reflection.
50 years is probably a good time to reflect a little bit on who we are, how we came to be here, but rather how we saw ourselves as we came to where we are. So, evolution of identity. So basically what the series is attempting to do is to discuss the expressions at various periods of time of a sense of identity by Barbadians. So we go through the history, look for particular incidents which permit the expression of this sense of identity.
Director of the museum, Alessandra Cummins, says people attend the series to broaden their knowledge. She says this was evident during last year's event.
I actually thought, I'm subject to correction, I thought we actually got a wide cross-section. It was a different topic for us, and people who had all kinds of different interests did come seeking knowledge, seeking opportunities to learn more about the subject. So I do think that we had actually a very good diverse audience in that respect. Not huge numbers, but a good selection, a cross-section of Barbados and people from other countries and other islands.
It's time for a break now, but when we come back, regional and international news. Stay with us.